Morning team. Greg, Acupuncture Queenstown. Today we're going to be discussing the age-old question of why am I tired all the time? On my notes I write T-A-T-T, tat, for tired all the time. Now it's something I see quite often in clinic. This is not just a modern condition, it's been going on for a long time and it happens in all countries. So I want to discuss today what types of energy we have, where they come from, what makes us tired, and what makes us full of beans. So there are three main systems, energy systems in our body. The most obvious, well, three and a bit. I'll change this four, but just for today, I'll try and keep it simple. So the most important one, the first one, the most obvious one, is food. Okay, so what we eat. We get hungry, we've got no energy, we eat, we feel better. Now, the caveat with the food is the quality of the food, but also, and this is the bit that tends to get missed, it's how well we digest it. So all the nutritionists and dietitians will bang on about what sort of food you're eating and the quality of the food, which is totally important, but forget that if you're not absorbing it, it's not going to work very well. There's a big rush in the modern world talking a lot now about probiotics and the microbiome and how your digestion works, how that affects everything. We'll have a bigger discussion about that in another video. But today, we're just going to assume, hopefully, that you're eating well, eating regularly and eating good stuff, and you're absorbing it. Now, once you've eaten that food, if you're breathing well, the combination of the two means your body has enough blood going around with nutrients in it, enough hemoglobin with the oxygen in it to go around and oxygenate the body, and everything works pretty well. So that's reasonably straightforward. We're all fairly familiar with that concept. The two we tend to miss in the modern world is one, which is energy reserve, and two, which is tension. So we're just going to focus mostly at the beginning here on the energy reserves. Now in a Chinese medicine sense, this means your kidney qi or your kidney energy. Now in a modern sense, this relates to adrenals or the adrenal exhaustion. If you look up the symptoms of adrenal exhaustion, they will match almost exactly the Chinese medicine concept of kidney deficiency or kidney qi shu, we'd call it kidney qi deficiency, kidney energy weakness. So back in the day, legend has it that the Chinese weren't allowed to do dissections. Okay, the culture at the time, the religion at the time did not allow the poking around in dead bodies. So Chinese medicine is between 3,000 to 5,000 years old, depending on who you read and how far back you want to go. A lot of it is lost in time. As far as we know, they weren't allowed to chop people up. So they observed things from the outside. And they were very smart. The people at the time were very clever, and they watched how people were, how diseases happened, how illness happened, how people's energy was. And they noticed there seemed to be this energy reserve that lived in the kidney area. So they called it a kidney deficiency. And your adrenal glands are two little glands that sit just above your kidneys. Okay, they're quite small. So potentially they missed those. Maybe they had a quick look sneakily inside bodies, but they missed those. We're not sure. It doesn't really matter. The concept is the same. What this means, this is this energy or this tiredness you get. See, if you're hungry and you eat and you get a bit of a perk up and you're okay. If you're generally tired, you go to sleep, wake up in the morning, have breakfast, off you go, and you don't feel too bad. If you've been running around a bit, you take a rest, you get up, you're okay. What I'm talking about here is underlying tiredness that just seems to drag on. Doesn't seem to matter what you eat, how much sleep you get, you just feel there's this underlying tiredness. Now, this happens a lot. Now, the older we get, the more we'll notice this. Look at new parents and you'll see what this kind of tiredness is. Doesn't matter what you feed them, how much coffee they have, they're still tired. Well, the more kids they have, the more tired they get. Now, you can also see this in athletes. So your young athletes at the Olympics, for example, in their 20s, late 20s, up to their 30s, maybe early 30s. Actually pick any sport you like, doesn't matter. Any sport you like, any activity you like. Late teens, early 20s, fantastic. Tons of energy, okay? They train hard, they eat well, they do all that stuff. They break records, they jump over stuff, awesome. Score tries, the whole thing, okay? Later on, you will notice that fantastic and beautiful and six-packed up, and wonderful these athletes were, perfect teeth. 30 plus, 40 plus, definitely 50 plus. They start to look tired, haggard, and often more tired than the average population, which seems strange, as we're told that fitness is so good for us. Fitness and exercise is good for us. Excessive fitness may not be in the long run. In the Asian traditions, in China, Chinese medicine, and also in the Indian system, yoga and Ayurveda, the concept of exercise is about movement. Regular movement to keep your body supple and moving around, not excessive fitness. Six packs were never part of the deal. When the Olympics were never part of the deal, that was not really what you're after. So you will find that most athletes, Western athletes, by the time they get to about 60, 70, we're looking at hip replacements, knee replacements, painkillers, anti-inflammatories, chronic stuff, often chronic tiredness, lots of sallowness, wrinkles. Bleh. You go over to see some of the Tai Chi teachers over in China, Taiwan, other Asian areas. They're just at 70, pretty perky, still doing fine, seem to have lots of energy. Interesting. Or the old yogis, the same. What's happening? What happens is your kidney chi, your adrenal energy, is essentially a finite source of energy. So you can burn this up without realizing. The best way to think of this is like a nest egg of energy from your parents. So when you're born, imagine your parents, let's think of it like finance. Imagine your parents give you, let's say 100 grand, right? 100k, and they go, here's 100 grand, I'm putting it in the savings account for you, only use it for important things. And you go, yeah, okay, good call. Theoretically, we all have a job that earns us enough to pay our bills, do all the stuff we want to do, and maybe save some. Okay, and if we're doing great, we save lots. Fabulous. If either our earnings aren't high enough, or often our expenses are more than our earnings, then we end up losing. Okay, at the end of each month, we're a little bit down on what we were. So what we do is we draw on the savings account. Now, when you're young, it doesn't seem to matter. 100 grand, borrow $5 here, $10, $50, maybe even a grand, a couple of grand. Doesn't seem to notice. There's still a massive savings account here. We're not too worried. What happens is we notice this later on. If we just keep drawing at it gently, by the time we get to that 40s, 50s, we notice it's got real low. Now, if we really blast it, now we can blast it in many ways. We can blast it by working too hard. We can blast it by partying too hard. We can blast it by training too hard. We can do all three. We can blast it by not eating well enough, not eating the right sort of stuff, absorbing the right sort of stuff. So it's like our job is just not earning enough. So remember, this actually often doesn't matter when people earn money, how much they earn, it's how much they spend. A lot of people earn more money and they spend more money. Bigger house, bigger car, more debts. So over time, we start to run down the savings account. Now there's ways to blast through that much quicker. If you go real heavy on the training, real heavy on the party, real heavy on the work, real bad on the food, really short on the sleep, and then you add in your stimulants. Now stimulants, like coffee and all that Red Bull, Monster, Mother, all those different caffeine-based drinks and so on, will give you a kick. But here's the thing. Some of those will contain sugar, which will give you a bit of an extra energy kick. Caffeine by itself, you can get like caffeine tablets, or like a black espresso, just like a short black, what do they call it? I think it's called espresso. A short shot of black coffee, theoretically it contains almost no calories. Calories are a measure of heat, technically, but we'll talk about here in terms of energy. It's a measure of energy. So if there's no energy really in there, where does it come from? In the Chinese medicine sense, we would say you're going to use your energy reserves. You're going to tell your body, I need energy and I need it now. It'll look around and it will find something. It will come from your kidney chi, okay, your kidney energy. In a Western sense, we'll say it's your adrenals. You'll suck a little bit of energy out of your adrenals. Give yourself a little bit of a boost. Now, every now and then, we've got to get through stuff. That's what it's for. Stress will do that too. Or excitement. So if you're tired and you're a bit like, oof, you can go to the gym and rev yourself up and you'll get an adrenaline kind of release that way. You can jump out of a plane. You can get all stressed. You can get a big phone call, nasty emails, you can get all kind of angry. That will rev you up. Okay. This is actually what it's for. It's what adrenaline's for and what your kidney chi is for. If you crash your car, or someone crashes into you in your car, you want your adrenaline to kick off. It's amazing. Adrenaline is awesome stuff. Freaks us all out, but it's actually awesome. Heart rate goes up, our legs shake, arms shake, brain goes all funny, but it gives you this superpower for a short period of time. Okay, this is the stuff that allows you to smash through the window of the car, get out, rip the door off, pull the kids out, maybe lift the car off one of the kids if you need to, and get out before you run out of energy. Okay, this is what allows little old ladies to run down and lift cars off grandchildren and so on. It's a real short boost, and then you're done, and then you're knackered. Okay, so adrenaline's great. We would call it kidney chi in the Chinese thing. Same thing. Okay, so I'm just using both so we understand how things work. Chinese medicine is not as bonkers as it sounds. It's just a different way of describing things using old-fashioned language versus modern language. So I'm trying to kind of modernize it so we can understand what's happening. So the thing about stimulants, and remember there's also the illegal stimulants, there's the Coke and the speed are the top two, and the vitamins and that kind of thing. If you're tired in the morning, you're like, oof, hit yourself up with a heavy coffee and then have coffees all through the day, you are pulling on your savings account. Okay, so it's like you keep borrowing money off the bank, or you keep draining that savings account down. The heavy stimulants are like using a credit card. When you've got no money, and you think, what am I going to do? A bit tight here. Oh, I'll put it on the credit card. I've known people who've had 3 credit cards, 4 credit cards, and they cycle them around, just chasing that debt or trying to run away from the debt. The body will work the same way. Now, if you use the illegal stimulants, that's your Cokes and your speeds, okay, it's kind of like borrowing money from the loan sharks. The big scary dude with the baseball bat who has a huge, like 100% a day interest or something stupidly high. Credit cards are about, I think it's about 33% interest. So you are getting yourself in debt. So what we need to think about is realizing that this is essentially a finite amount of energy. You can slow it down and you can, to a certain extent, put it back. But just like debts, if you have a debt, a big debt, you will go and see a financial advisor and hopefully one of those people, and they will go, right, okay, they'll get all very clever and computery, and they'll consolidate the debt into one place, and then they'll go, right, you need to drastically reduce your expenses. No more fancy jackets, no more lobster dinners. Ramp that all back. This is how much you're earning, this is how much the expenses are, and if we're going to take $5 a week, we're going to put it into paying off your debts. And gradually, if you're frugal, you can pay off the debt, okay? So if you blow that at some point, it's not going to work. Obviously, if you can earn more, that's great. So think of that the same in terms of your body energy. If you are really tired and you run this down, and often if we look back at our lives, we go, oh, yes, I had a long period here in my 20s where I was partying a lot and went to Ibiza and did stuff, dodgy stuff. You burnt up some energy there. Oh, that's right, I got obsessed with marathons and triathlons for a while. I trained real hard, but I was busy with work as well, and I wasn't eating properly, and I was just getting by on protein shakes and coffee. Oh, that's right, I had a massive stressful time. At this point in my life, this went on. I had a divorce, I had a separation, I had a job loss, I had a broken leg, I had whatever. You know, you can just stuff. If we realise that's where we're at, then we need to think how I'm going to put this back. Fundamental things are, think of it like a debt you have to pay back. Think of it as not going to be quick. There are no miracles with this. Okay, no one's going to give you the lottery, I'm afraid, on this one. Your plan is we slow it down so it doesn't get worse, and we may be able to put some back. There's some debate as to how much we can actually do that. All those classical exercises you hear about from Asia, which is essentially your Tai Chi, your Qigong, and your yoga, the focus on the breathing and meditation is what puts this sort of energy back. Okay, so we're looking at getting into one of those, a regular practice of that to calm us down, de-stress us, get our system to work better, and to put little bits of energy back. We're also looking at getting enough sleep. So what we need is 8 hours of deep quality sleep. Not up and down, nightmares and that sort of stuff. If you're not sleeping well, it's one of the treatment priorities when I'm treating people is to get them sleeping. Okay, now I'll do a whole video on how to sleep better at some point. But for now, let's hope we get our sleep. We need to make sure we're eating well, eating our regular meals that we can digest, that our system can handle. And again, we'll do a video on what that means. Some of the modern dietary advice may be a bit misleading and not as helpful as it could be, because these concepts aren't often mentioned. We need to reduce our stress, and we need to get everything to move better. Okay, if we work on that slowly, we can slow this thing down and make ourselves feel better. Okay, so I'm going to give you a brief little example of what I mean. I feel like Blue Peter here. Look, here's something I prepared earlier. I've got a candle here, a lighter. So if I light this candle, hopefully you can see. I may have chosen a better candle. Okay, so theoretically, if you light a candle and the wick's the right length and the wax is sitting there doing its thing, once it's stabilised and there's no big drafts around, the candle should burn evenly for a long time. Okay. This is another analogy. It's like the finance one. I just really want you to get this idea of how these things work. And of course, I should have planned this ahead and brought some spare wax, but I didn't. Imagine I take my candle and I drip loads of extra wax into it. What's going to happen? I'll drown the flame. Okay? This is what happens if your energy is low because you're eating and drinking the wrong things. If you're chugging tons of beer and eating tons of pizzas, tons of cheese, tons of sugary stuff, tons of TV snacks and things, and not doing much, you just build more and more sludge. And the sludge is like adding extra wax to your flame. It will drown it and slow it down. Conversely, if you're running around with your coffee and your speed and your Coke and your Red Bulls 7 a day, I've seen people drink those things, 5-6 times a day, 5 coffees a day, that sort of thing, plus the adrenaline stress, okay, almost put the candle out there, it's like doing this. You add the flame to it. What happens if you do that? The wax burns down much quicker and you'll burn through your energy quicker, okay? So we're looking for this balance, this yin-yang balance. I know it's a cliche, but it's true. We're trying to find this balance. And we're never going to find it. Life is always a bit that way. The kidney chi, the adrenals, are there for emergencies. The same as when your parents gave you that nest egg. Hopefully they said something like, only use this for buying a house, maybe college fees, maybe getting out of some big problem you have. It's a backup. It's a security blanket. We're going to use it down over time. That's how things work. Okay. As we get older, our energy goes from up high here and it slowly works away until we're gone. Okay. Remember, in your 20s, if you're in your 20s, good for you. Teens and 20s, you can train real hard. You can go to bed real late, chat to your friends, get up 3 hours later and feel fine. And you seem to be okay. I used to train in my 20s real hard. I would train 5 days a week. I was eating pretty good, to be fair, but training real hard. Then I could go out with my friends, party and stuff and do things and get up the next day, do it all again. Boom, boom, boom. Because I've got loads of energy here, but it will slowly decline. So, try to think of energy like money or like the candle. Okay, this is what we're aiming for, is this energy reserves. Now the last thing about tiredness I want to discuss today, and I'll go in more detail into this again in another video. I don't want to make these too long because apparently people's attention span isn't long anymore. The last one is tension. We'll discuss stress in a different video because there are 5 main emotions we need to think about. Stress involves different emotions, but let's just talk about tension for now. If you're tense, it will create blockages that will slow down the flow of the chi from a Chinese point of view, or the prana from Indian point of view. In the modern world, we go, what's chi? What's that all about? Just think of it like energy. Think of it as blood flow. If your blood's not flowing very well, or your lymph isn't flowing very well, or your fascia's not moving very well, you're going to be tired. A lot of people will spend all day on a computer like this. Mousey, tickety. All day. Okay, so no physical movement, not physically tired, mentally tired, but not physically tired. Eating who knows what. End of the day, get in the car, same thing. Go home, turn on Netflix, same thing. Snacks, booze, coffee, go to bed, same thing. Okay? And they're tired. We'll get home like, oh, tired. But you've done no physical activity. Not like they run a marathon or they're working down a coal mine. You're working on the computer. Now it is mentally tiring, I totally get that. It does my head in because I'm not a computery person. But what you'll find is at the end of that sort of day, if you go for a walk, just go for a brisk walk, 10-15 minutes outside in the fresh air, or do some stretching, do some yoga, maybe a swim, maybe gym, something like that. Nothing too hard necessarily. It hasn't got to be onerous. You move your chi. You move that tension. And once you move this tension, suddenly we feel better and we have more energy. So when we're really tired, as long as we don't tire ourselves out more with training too hard, exercise is great. That's what it's for. And that is the emphasis of Tai Chi and yoga and the Eastern systems of exercise is movement. You move your chi, you move things around, and you feel better. Western exercise tends to be about performance and about results, about faster times, bigger muscles, greater achievements, higher mountains, whatever we want to look at, okay? Or the physical thing with the abs and the tight bum, etc. It's all fine, but it's a different emphasis. So, try and conclude this here, keep it reasonably simple. The energy depends on you eating well and digesting well. It depends on you breathing pretty well. And it depends on you realizing that there is this underlying system. The underlying kidney system, by the way, covers also puberty, menopause, those kind of things. All those big stages in life are affected by that and tension. If we can get those 4 reasonably under control, we should be feeling a lot better, okay? Now, the tension one is the one that gets moved, by the way, treatment-wise in terms of with massage, chiropractic, osteopathy, those kind of treatments, and acupuncture. Essentially, we move your chi, we move the blockages to get things working better. There are points to lift things up, work on digestion. Again, we can discuss that another day. In terms of what you can do at home for free by yourself is to understand how this all works, okay? Hopefully that's clear. Hopefully the video's good and there's no hiss and whatever. Now, before I forget, make sure you subscribe and like, because the kids tell me that's like, Dad, it's like really, really important, it's like what you need to do. Not being a YouTuber, I don't know, because I'm an acupuncturist, not a YouTuber. Hopefully this has been helpful and educational. Ask me any questions in the comments section. I'll do my best to answer if I have time, depending on how many there are between work and kids and life and stuff. I'll do some more videos on different topics. If there's particular things you'd like to know or questions you have, I'll see if I can make a video on those. Have a great day. Greg, Acupuncture Queenstown. Thank you.